of the hour, let's talk about the Pandora's box of Jeffrey Epstein seems to have been opened once again, with the US government having now released a massive 3.5 million page trove of files, sending shockwaves. And among the documents, the Gates chapter has now put the Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates in the spotlight. The files allege, and we stress allege, that Gates contracted sexually transmitted disease after encounters with women and secretly sought antibiotics to give his then wife Melinda Gates. Now, this seems to be the release of the documents that has been announced, and this comes in more than a month after 19th of December deadline that was set in legislation mandating that the entire trove of the documents related to Epstein be released. Well, Rishabh, the files have offered new revelations of the links between Epstein, the president, and as far as when it comes to the name of Bill Gates is now concerned, the investigation into the late convicted sex offender contains documents that has references of high-profile figures.
Well, see, we need to understand one thing, that Epstein files have just come out last evening, India time, and around 2,000 plus videos, 180,000 plus images have been released in a 3.5 million page, that has come out from the Epstein files, and DOJ has now released it. There are claims that are now being made, and there are claims based on these Epstein files. Times Now cannot independently verify these, but yes, a Pandora box has been opened where Bill Gates have been dragged in, where Elon Musk has been dragged in as well in the Epstein file. And as you mentioned, that Bill Gates have been termed that he acquired an STD while he was involved with women at the Epstein Island. What we are also given to understand that he was requesting immediate antibiotics for his wife Melinda Gates as well. Both Bill Gates and Melinda Gates were together back then as per the documents, and now further more details are coming in. It is a Pandora box, as you said, who's and who have been named in this, but as of now, Times Now cannot confirm exactly what all are there. The database is very huge. It will take us time to confirm each and every bit of that database.
Absolutely, because that seems to be, as far as this fresh cache of files that have been related to the investigation into the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, that seems to contain documents, images, and also videos of certain high-profile figures as well. And, Rishabh, when we talk about, as far as these high-profile figures are concerned, who are the names that we are actually talking about that has been mentioned? As far as when it comes to the long-standing allegation that has also been, leveled, White House continues to maintain that Donald Trump has denied any wrongdoing related to Epstein.
Well, definitely. See, White House has maintained that Donald Trump has nothing to hide. Donald Trump has also denied. Basically, the White House has basically denied that Donald Trump has nothing to hide here. He is not involved with any wrongdoing when it comes to Epstein. There are names like Melinda Gates, like Bill Gates, like for that matter, in the earlier tranche, we have had Stephen Hawkins and many other such celebrity names as well. And Musk's name also surfaces here and there in the Epstein files as well. So, the box is quite engaging. The box is quite explosive for that matter. We, once the every detail of these, pages of Epstein file comes out. Remember, as we are talking, 2,000 plus videos, 180,000 plus images, and then, other pages as well. The details of the visiting guests, the details of what happened minute by minute on Epstein Island is something that we need to verify one after another. The database is very huge and will take some time to verify each and every part of that. The DOJ has put it in a digital manner, but yet it is huge to verify in just short time. But yes, names like Elon Musk, names like Melinda Gates, Bill Gates, all these surface in this tranche of Epstein file releases as well.
Absolutely. When it comes to all of these developments that have now taken place, let me quickly go across to our guest also joining us here on the broadcast. We have Kartha, who is the former Director, National Security Council Secretariat, joining us here on the broadcast. Thank you, Tara, for taking out your time. Can you help us understand, as far as the sheer volume that is now concerned with the Justice Department saying that it has released more than 3 million pages of investigative material related to Epstein, along with over 2,000 videos, over 180,000 images. What has now been said as far as these following disclosures are concerned? Because this follows an extensive review process.
I think earlier the unhappiness with the Department of Justice was that a lot of this was being redacted. So there is a loss of faith in exactly what the Department of Justice is up to. So now I was just, like I said, even I just got this. So I found the name of Howard Lutnick, for instance, who said in 2012, who said he had nothing to do last 2002, but he's still around. So this is going to create a lot of what shall I say, muddy the waters quite a lot. And also, but the only thing is it's across, it seems to be across administrations. You've got Bill Clinton, you've got a bunch of people who seem to be involved. My biggest problem here is that, this is the kind of things that fuels a Gen Z revolution. The kind of unhappiness at the bottom that the ones who lead the country are clueless, they're corrupt, they're morally, absolutely in a pathetic state of affairs. So this is it. I don't know how many others are going to come out in this. So this is literally a ticking time bomb. But Donald, so far as I can see, which is not really a lot, is that Trump himself seems to have not been named in this particular section of files, whether it is, briefly, some aspects of these files were removed, then they were put back, all that was going on. So nobody really knows. But then let's see how this plays out.
Some of the images and documents have been heavily redacted as well, when it comes to maintaining the privacy of the victims in the case who are still fighting a legal battle for justice, Tara. But these documents also include previously unseen and undated photographs showing, Epstein with several high-profile individuals at different locations. But the Justice Department has already said that the presence of these individuals in the files do not imply any wrongdoing or awareness of Epstein's criminal activities.
Yeah, in some ways, it could be just kind of one of the biggest parties going. So everybody was there. You know how these things happen. Whether it went on towards, I can show, you're showing one of them, which seems to be pretty classic. But the kind of things it's pretty disgusting. That's all I can say. I don't even know how to, sort of discuss this on TV. But what I can only talk of is the political impact. Whether how much it's going to affect the present administration, which is in the US, which is already tainted by multiple things like, the kind of things they did in tariffs, the kind, whether it's legal, whether it's not, the threats, etc., his way of dealing with people. So it's a very frightening thing. The kind of, you see it across the world. It's not just in the US. There is a very frightening loss of morality. And it's going across into your social media, which is why at least 2 countries, Australia and France, have banned social media below 18. This is the kind of thing I think we should also look at. There is an avalanche of rot in the system.
Well, Risha, because multiple of these pictures that have been released and of these high-profile individuals is coming across as a greater shock to have, alleged involvement or not. But even as far as them being pictured with the convicted sex offender seems to be, raising a lot of doubts and a lot of questions. Rishabh? I think let me take that question to you, Tara, because I believe we've lost that line with Rishabh. But, you mentioned the president here as well. He has long denied any improper conduct, saying that he had no business relationship with Epstein. But all of this now seems to be happening at a time when the questions surrounding, Epstein linkages when it comes to with high-profile individuals is now being looked with a doubt.
See, it's not just that. I was just, again, looking through it. I find there are names linking it to the president, linking it to Mar-a-Lago. There's an employee there who's involved. All that is there. But whether that directly links the president itself is unclear as of now. What is more is questionable at this point of time is how capable are the FBI and the other agencies to look at this impartially. You've seen the kind of things which have been done in recent time. People are thrown out, entire, departments have been sort of marginalized. There's been international organizations have been marginalized. So the whole system has become very unstable. It's not the ones where you could once say, okay, this particular department will do its job as it sees fit, regardless of what the politician says. That is no longer the case. So within the US, whether the popularity of Donald Trump will be hit or not is something we need to wait and see.
Well, let me go back to Rishabh on this because, Rishabh, as far as these high-profile figures are concerned, this is also coming at a time when, we've been speaking about what the Justice Department has done. There was already a question over the long-pending delay. And now these documents, worth millions of them that have now been released, raises further questions. But I'm told that there is another breaking update that is now coming in because there seems to be a sensational claim that has been made against President Trump. And while claims of Trump that has now been removed by the Department of Justice, and these screenshots seems to be claiming that seems to be going viral on social media, saying that Trump actually hosted calendar girls, claiming that minors were allegedly auctioned. Well, that seems to be another big claim, Rishabh, that is now coming across. How can they completely disassociate themselves from Epstein?
Well, see, as of now, White House or Donald Trump's office or Donald Trump himself has very categorically said that he doesn't have anything to hide in Epstein files. He also went on to say that whatever is there in Epstein file will come out. White House has very categorically said that, there is no wrongdoing on part of Donald Trump here. Yes, these claims are coming in again, as we have been mentioning, that Times Now cannot independently verify these claims that are being made in United States. The volume of database is quite high. 3.5 million pages is not something that even digitally as newsmen we can read out overnight, and that's the reason that we are very cautious while we are reporting these claims that have been made in the United States, that we'll have to verify it on our end at one point as well, and hence we are only
well, that would take a certain amount of time there as far as the verification process is also concerned, Tara, because these documents that have been released suggest that, high-profile parties were hosted, several high-profile guests were also included there. But this continues to be an internal summaries, of calls to an FBI whistleblower hotline. As far as these summaries, however, do not constitute to evidence of any misconduct. So there seems to be a thin line, on which, they are treading as far as the investigation is concerned.
See, the one thing that I would like to say is that the US system still has when a Justice Department wants data, even the White House is obliged to give it. That system still continues, and you're happy to see that. I think the Trump administration, for example, has produced some roughly 3.5 million pages in they're complying with the Epstein Files Transparency Act, so they have to give that kind of data to the Justice Department. So that's something one can still admire in the US. My question is, how, the credibility of the agencies which would normally go through this, the intelligence, everybody is so probably not as much as it was before. That's all I'm saying. But I think we need to wait and see. President Trump has a lot of
But that has still taken a significant amount of time as far as even the release of the current, documents and pictures are also concerned. Imagine the kind of pressure that has been put on the agencies to actually go ahead with this step. But the latest release marks the end of a very comprehensive document identification and review process to ensure what the American authorities say, that there is transparency with the American people and the compliance with the act. Tara, thank you very much for taking out your time and for